One of the songs I wrote down there with two other artists is nominated for Songwriter of the Year too.
Wow.
Which is my single Backwards. Best performance in a music video, which is pretty cool for my single Another Round of You, which was actually shot right here in Calgary. So, I mean, most of the radio stations now, they're all owned by one person.
Oh, okay.
So, like, for example, the person that owns like High River and Olds and Airdrie, like it's all run by them. So whatever they choose is what all four of those stations will be playing. So a lot of songs nowadays, especially the older ones, are all public domain.
Oh, okay.
So you can normally find out if they're copyrighted still or not.
Yeah.
But if they're all just kind of free range, you can do whatever.
All right, and welcome. This is the Bold Strong Podcast. I'm your host, Craig Nadeau, and today we have with us Brandon Lorenzo. He's been down and collecting awards, getting nominated for awards. He had a super busy summer. We're excited to hear about that. We're so excited to have him back. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube and Instagram, and we're also on LinkedIn, and our supporter, partner, staffing on LinkedIn and everywhere else. Hopefully you enjoy the show, and let's jump right into it. All right. Well, welcome to the show, Brandon.
Yeah,
great to have you back.
I'm so stoked to be back.
Yeah, it's exciting. You had a super busy summer, and I was super excited to hear about all that. And and now, like, since you were here last time, I think it was, man, it must have been fall of last year.
Yeah,
you were here. Or
it was
like
super early. Kind of just the Stampede was, I think, wrapping up.
And, Wow, exciting. So since then, and when we talked last time, you were heading down. There was awards on the table, and
yeah, we actually, it was in Nashville, and it was at the Grand Ole Opry, and we were nominated for two. It was the Male Vocalist of the Year and Male Entertainer of the Year for Modern Country, and we ended up coming home with an award, which was the Male Vocalist of the Year category.
Amazing, hey?
Yeah, it's pretty neat, and I mean, the Mother Church of Nashville, which is the Opry, an unreal experience.
That's awesome.
I honestly, I didn't prepare to win. I was like, I thought there's so many people nominated that I'm not going to win. And normally I would put like a couple talking points in my phone if I have to go up and make a speech. And I didn't do that because I just said to myself, there's no way. Awesome. And then when I got on stage, I was like, who do I even thank? What do I do? And I was just like paying attention to what the other people were saying. And I was like, okay, mom, dad, you know, whatever else.
That's amazing. And so you came back with a trophy, or what did they give you?
Yeah, it was like a little glass trophy. I should have brought it today.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But yeah, it's just like a little glass trophy for sure. And I'll send you one.
Wow. And so we always see, when we see the Grand Ole Opry, we see it from the audience perspective. So how's it look from the stage? That must be pretty cool.
It's super cool, and it goes up so high. Like
really?
The rafters are just to the ceiling.
Wow,
and,
wow.
Yeah, it could fit so many people. It was kind of intimidating, probably one of the biggest crowds that I've ever kind of stood in front of that I had to speak to. So
wow, that's great. And they have like, what are they called? Those seats on the side that kind of go up the wall. Or I don't know what those are called.
Yeah, and it's kind of neat because everywhere
box
it's kind of like a church pew kind of style.
Yeah.
So it's all like family style seating.
Wow.
So but it's pretty neat. You kind of get to know the people around you.
Yeah.
Just kind of impromptu. So.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, and that was Male Vocalist of the Year. So now, and you were saying off camera, there's a whole bunch more coming right up.
Absolutely.
So you got nominated not just for one or two, but for
there's 6 more.
6 more.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy because it's all just on an independent level. So we'll be headed back down there again in a couple weeks, just the end of October. Wow. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
What are you nominated for in the next one?
Yeah, so Male Vocalist of the Year again. This time, though, it's for the alumni category because I won last year.
Yeah, okay.
We also have the Male Entertainer of the Year category. One of the songs I wrote down there with two other artists is nominated for Songwriter of the Year too.
Wow.
Which is my single Backwards.
Cool.
Best performance in a music video, which is pretty cool for my single Another Round of You, which was actually shot right here in Calgary.
Really?
Downtown, just a few blocks from here.
Oh, no way.
So we have that one. And then there's 2 others that I can't remember off the top of my head now, but it's pretty neat to have 6.
Yeah, no kidding.
Pretty neat. It's funny because
awesome.
The way they announced it this year was a lot different than previous. So they kind of did it staggered. Every day they'd announce like 3 different categories.
Oh, okay.
So I met another artist down there when I was there last time from Michigan. And his mom and my mom became like really good friends. And that family style cheating. So she got my number, and we kind of been talking. And every day that a new thing come out, I was like posting about, you know, I got 3 awards. And I thought that was it. And then another day would come, she'd text me, she's like, you got another one, you got another one. So I had to like keep editing my post.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess it's a good problem to have. So
yeah, no kidding. Oh, that's terrific. So you did the video, you did a downtown video. So that's cool. What was I didn't see the video, sorry.
Yeah, we shot it. It was for my song, Another Round of You.
Yeah.
So we used actually Whiskey Rose just on 17th Ave
right on.
for all the bar stuff. And
then
we used an apartment that one of my buddies owns. Just kind of catches me there. So you can see the Calgary Tower and stuff in it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat if you get a chance to check it out.
Wow, that's awesome. There's a bar, and we're going to get you into that bar. There's it's called The Rooftop, and it's a friend of ours who he was on the podcast recently, Kevin. And so, yeah, so he's excited to talk to you about getting you. It's a pretty cool venue. So it's
yeah, I've heard about it. I've seen a couple friends there during Stampede and stuff. Yeah. But, yeah, it's a pretty cool spot.
Yeah, excellent. So you had a super busy summer. What happened over the summer?
Yeah, I mean, when I actually went into my calendar about 2 weeks ago and counted how many shows we did. Yeah. We did 63 shows.
Whoa, that's nuts.
Beginning of June until the end of August.
That's like almost every day.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
and I mean, Stampede Week as a whole, I think the last time we spoke, we kind of talked about how you could do like 3 or 4 shows in a day.
Right.
And it adds up.
Yeah.
I was pretty shocked.
And were you on the Coca-Cola stage?
We didn't do the Coke stage, but we did the parade this year with the Calgary Stampede.
Cool.
So I was on their float. Wow. Pretty cool experience to be a part of.
Yeah.
And then, a couple other places around the city for either corporate events or other things put on by the city. So,
yeah,
it was pretty cool.
Friend of mine said he saw you on stage, and so I messaged that we were meeting, and he said, "Oh, no way."
Yeah, I
awesome.
mean, it's so cool. Like I feel so grateful to be able to do what I do because you meet so many different people, and it just those people often come back for like another show too.
Sure.
And it's just really neat.
What was was there a highlight? Like you're in the parade, you mentioned it. Was that a highlight, or what was the big highlight? Yeah,
super neat.
So,
I got to see myself on Global News, which is
pretty
cool.
Yeah.
But there's every show that we play is just so different, I find. And like I can't really point out if there was like necessarily a highlight because I try to pick out a highlight from every show.
Right.
And try to find that moment. But yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. We went down to, I was mentioning before that we went down to this event called Heritage Days down in Cardston, so down by Waterton. And man, it was the most country that I've been. Like, the Stampede's kind of country, but it's people from downtown Calgary who put on cowboy boots. But this was people who wear cowboy boots for a living. It was like there was they had like a mud bog, like not quite a tractor pull, but drive your truck with no exhaust through the mud, and they had what was called a ranch rodeo that I was unfamiliar with, but it's basically instead of having like bronco busting and the kind of stuff that we're familiar with at the Stampede, they had what you would do at a ranch. And so one of the events was like, you got to get this steer into a tractor or a trailer.
Oh, okay.
So like, you probably do that every day. And so they did it for time, and they had teams, and it was pretty wild. But what they didn't, like, they had music and stuff playing, kind of playing in the background, but they didn't have you.
Right.
So I think you need to be there next year.
Maybe if they're watching this podcast.
Yeah, it was pretty great. So I think it would be a good venue.
For sure.
They should have a concert. It would totally make sense.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, most rodeos do a cabaret. Like we play a lot of them. Like we did Airdrie this year, High River, Strathmore. But I think a lot of small towns too. Like they kind of are starting to get that. Yeah. But it's a very slow kind of process.
Yeah.
But like you say, I like the small town ones too.
Yeah.
Because they just add events that you don't normally see. Like Strathmore, for example, does the whole running with the bulls.
Right.
And
they do. That's right.
I actually had 2 buddies compete in that this season. One actually got pretty hurt. But
no way.
Oh, yeah. It's just so much fun to see.
Is it like, did they try to do it just like they do in Italy? Is it Italy or Spain? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it's in Spain. But yeah, Spain. they just basically, you wear like a high-vis vest.
Yeah.
And it's just a free-for-all. They put all these people in this corral. And they're just like, don't get hurt.
Wow,
you
that's
win,
awesome.
Like, you win a lot of money for it.
Really?
Yeah, I had like it was like 10 grand you could win if you like were the last one standing.
Wow.
And yeah, I was like, I would not want to do that.
Did you go watch?
I watched it, yeah,
No way.
because I was playing the one night that they had.
Yeah.
And you got to be brave to do that.
Like, so how do people get out? Are they getting hit by the bulls, or are they?
I think eventually, like, if you get hit or you have to like climb the fence.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's just like you're in there and
That's hilarious.
you're on your own.
This is when this is when Joe Rogan would be like, "Hey, Jamie, can you pull that up on the video?" And we
yes,
watch
that's
the video.
right. It's like natural selection.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, next year,
That's right.
There's a plug for the Strathmore Rodeo, and we
go.
gotta go see that.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I forget where it is. I don't know. It immediately makes me think of the running of the cheese too, where they roll the big cheese things
down the hill.
And you have to avoid
That's
it.
right.
Oh man, too many fun things to do.
Yes.
So summer was super busy. Now what? Is there a bit of a break now? Do you get a
bit of a break. Weekends are still pretty busy.
Yeah.
But they're not as full. So, which is kind of nice. I get a little bit of downtime. Like this weekend I have no shows, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
But, as Christmas kind of starts to pick up, all the Christmas shows are starting to come in, and
right.
there's stuff like that. But yeah. And then I guess I just had to take the time to be able to go to Nashville again too. So
yeah. Right. That's in November.
October.
October.
Yeah, end of October. Yeah.
October. Yeah. Do you have? Is this like? I don't know. I'm not an artist. But is this, like, when you have downtime, is that when you write? Or is writing happen? I would think writing kind of happens at the spur of the moment, like when you're at Walmart and someone rams their cart into your cart and then it's like, boom, there's a song.
Yeah.
Or is it happen more in the downtime?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends. Like, I like to spend the time that I have for a lot of personal things, but, I'll often schedule in sometime during the week to do some writes. And mostly in the evenings. Yeah. That's when I find the time. But yeah, like you say, like it's all based off life events. If something happens and you hear something in a conversation or whatever, that's honestly how I get most of my ideas. Yeah. Is just from things that either happen in my life or conversations I have with people. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Huh. That's cool. What's I remember last time we talked probably a fair bit about cars and stuff. Mm-hmm. So is there any cool car stuff on the go?
Yeah, we did a couple photo shoots just recently for a new song that we put out with some, I think it was a 54, 55 Thunderbird and stuff like that. And
nice, good era.
Yeah, totally. And just, we've been doing a lot of stuff. We played this show actually a few weeks back for the Alberta Mustangs Club.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
But it wasn't, I thought it was just going to be like a local car show. But I guess it's like an international thing that they have. Huh. It was at the Deerfoot Inn and Casino, and they brought in cars. There was a Mustang there that got shipped over from Argentina, like for this show. Yeah. Wow. It was like the biggest meet in all of Canada for Mustangs.
Wow.
Yeah. Huh. So my love for old cars is definitely still there. I think it's never going to go away.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. What was that one car that we talked about? It was a Dodge. It was a big Dodge. Wasn't it a big Dodge that we talked about? I can't remember the name of it now.
I mean, I don't know if it is, but like my dad's car was the Chrysler Cordoba.
The Cordoba, yeah. The one with the,
That's right. Corinthian leather.
Yes, that's right. I think we did a little short on the Corinthian leather.
That's right.
Oh, too good. Oh, man. Yeah, I play with cars all the time, but my life has been diminished to only changing brakes and changing oil and stuff, so it's been...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I felt like this summer, like, obviously that's kind of the time that everybody brings it out, but we didn't really get much of a summer.
No.
Like, Stampede Week was, like, too hot.
Yep.
But, other than that, we got a lot of rain and stuff like that, so...
Did you get out, like, during Stampede, did you actually go out to other people's concerts?
Yeah, I had...
Do you have time?
I had 2 days that I went, so actually I went to the rodeo the one day, caught the grandstand show, because my drummer plays on the grandstand every single night.
Really?
So he's quite involved with all that kind of stuff. But then I got to go see one of my favorite artists right now, which is Zach Top.
Okay.
So he was playing at Ranchman's. Yeah, and I had a few friends that were opening up for him. Yeah. Which was pretty cool, because like Zach Top I've been following probably since 2011.
Wow.
And to kind of see him grow up and I was shocked because this guy, I swear to God, he is like the next George Strait.
Really?
And the fact that I got to see him for $20 at Ranchman's blew my mind.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, my friends and I, we just carpooled all in together.
Yeah.
So I got to watch his sound check and stuff too. I probably wasn't supposed to be there. That's awesome. But I watched his sound check.
Yeah.
He walked past me, and like I don't normally get like super excited about meeting people. I try to keep it. Yeah. I'm like, from an artist perspective, I try to keep it pretty low key. But when Zach Top walked by me and he said, like, hello, I was like, contain yourself.
That's
like,
awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, I got to shake his hand and stuff and just kind of.
That's awesome. With him. And maybe he felt the same way about meeting you. You don't know.
Yeah. Maybe he knew who I was. I don't know.
Exactly. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I had mentioned that we went to when Shabuzi was playing at the Cowboys tent, and it was such a shocking experience because I don't go to those types of events at all, and I just went with my daughter, and it was like I can make up anything because you weren't there.
Yeah.
So but basically he played that song, the bar song, or Tipsy, over and over and over.
Yeah.
And everyone just lost their minds on it.
I mean, honestly, it's kind of like those one-hit wonder kind of things. Like if Billy Ray Cyrus came, he could play Achy Breaky Heart 20 times over.
Yeah, that's right.
People would love it.
People would love it, and they'd know exactly who he was. Yeah. I guess he's getting nominated for some Artist of the Year award too.
Yeah, so. I saw that. I mean, the guy's great, and I find more and more people now, like even here, are starting to play that song for their sets.
Oh,
and I got told, you should add that into your set.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm so 90s that it just like,
I
could probably make it work somehow, but.
Yeah. The 90s guy. I heard just as we were coming in today, I heard that this is kind of off topic, but Shakira, you probably heard of her.
Yeah, for sure.
So she got nominated, or not nominated, but she got an award for number 7 Lifetime Artist Award.
Okay.
In, I think it was couldn't have been hip hop, but it, it was whatever genre of music she used. But number 7 Lifetime Award.
Oh wow,
that's pretty wild. Because I know her song, I wouldn't have pinned her as number 7. But.
Yeah. Maybe it was number 7 for the best hips.
Best. They don't lie.
They don't lie.
I did. Speaking of which, I know we're so off topic now, but there was, I think it could have been like an SNL skit or something like that. And they played on that whole hips don't lie thing. And they had it was like a lie detector test. And they had a character acting like Shakira, or maybe it was Shakira at the point. And they'd ask her a question, and then they'd video in on the hips, and if the hips would either tell the truth or not tell the truth.
That's awesome. Love that.
Yeah, crazy. So what else? What's upcoming now? What's for the fall? What are you gonna do? You're downtime now, and you got some time to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also just trying to spend as much time that I can.
Yeah.
Just, learning how to relax.
Yeah.
Because I find that word's never in my vocabulary. But there's still a few shows. We got lots coming up. We're at the Grey Eagle a few times.
Oh, cool.
A couple other corporate events, and New Year's Eve we'll be out in Pincher Creek and stuff like that.
It's coming fast, hey.
I know.
That's crazy.
This year just blew by. But I mean, I think for me, it just feels like it goes so fast because I'm just going all the time.
Yeah. So, as an interesting thought, you've been in, how long have you been in? What would you say, when did you kind of start into the industry, as it were? And
yeah, I would say I've probably been doing this more full time for about 10 years now.
10 years. Okay. So 10 years, you get into it, you have all these conceptions about what it's going to be. Now you're 10 years in. Well, is there anything that shocked you, or is any different than what you anticipated?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think you hear the word no a lot more than you hear a yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, that's really hard because my favorite word is no.
Yeah.
Because if you tell me no, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, watch me do it.
Yeah.
And just wind me up and watch me go, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the word no, I think in this industry is huge because a lot of people are obviously trying to make it, and there's a lot more doors that get closed than open. But yeah, I think it's just kind of one of those things where you just gotta think of the good things that you do have or that you have accomplished and just kind of keep pushing for it.
So when, I guess you get a lot of no's because you're trying to get a lot of yeses too. And so that means that you're out there. And so did that surprise you that you need to be out there as much as you are, you know, getting an angle and getting into opportunities?
Yeah, for sure. And I think like just the competitive factor too, right? Like you got to think there's so many artists and even just like we just had the CCMAs in Edmonton and there's so many new faces too. So I think, yeah, the opportunity factor is that everybody wants the same opportunities, and there's only like obviously so many select spots at the given time, right? So that's always tough. But yeah, I think it's a lot better than it used to be. Yeah. Like, you know, if I went back a few years ago, the level for independent artists has definitely grown a lot more than it was, because everybody's trying to focus now, I think, on the ones that are smaller and that are coming up versus the ones that are already there and established.
Right. And is there, like, I guess when you started, you were coming up into it and then COVID happens. That was a total game changer for everyone and everything. And then you come out of COVID and there's maybe a bit of a vacuum for...
Well, that's just it. I mean, you know, 2020, I released my first ever single. And I remember we had this big party, things were happening. We had a bunch of shows lined up ready to go because of this song. Right. And then it was like, well, now I have to wait like a whole year in order to be able to get what's back on track. And it was like, well, am I going to be forgotten about? Are people going to remember me when this all is kind of over? And just kind of going that route. So,
do you push your stuff quite hard onto YouTube and whatnot? Like,
yeah, YouTube for sure. Like music videos and whatnot. Obviously, now that YouTube Music is a big thing, right? I find a lot of people use that. But also just like even the promo stuff for like TikTok and stuff too. You know, like just little clips even of whatever it might be for a music video, and you can boost that and people will watch it.
Yeah. Right. Maybe when we're done, we're going to create like a special dance. Yes. And we'll put it on TikTok. Perfect. And it'll be the dance for that. Yeah. That's right. And then you'll be...
The fans will love that.
As soon as you push it out there.
That's right.
That would be hilarious.
You know, it's funny you say that, like creating a dance, like, because I've actually there's this lady in Calgary that built this line dance for one of my songs. And
no way.
She teaches line dancing at all these bars. She actually teaches that, which is pretty neat. So
wow.
That, like, I'll play it at a bar. Everybody gets excited and they like rush to the dance.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's crazy.
Yeah. So it's fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm older, and when line dancing started, it's changed.
Right. Right. Yeah. Oh, they did. Oh, man. There's so many, like, I think I was at Ranchman's not long ago, and they were line dancing to Shivers by Ed Sheeran.
Whoa.
And I was like, this is not country.
Yeah.
But somehow it worked.
That's
which is
crazy.
The crazy thing.
Wow. Yeah. So like, yeah, that's a bit of a mark. You should probably record that or something so you can put it out on. Actually, you could put it out on YouTube. Yeah. People doing the line dance for your music. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, for sure. I should talk to you about that.
Yeah.
Like do a whole choreography lesson on it.
Yeah. And then video it, and then what would be really, as a production, you could record her training people doing it. Right. And then as the video progresses, then they're at the club and they're like, it's dark and the excitement and everyone's out doing it. Yeah. That'd be really kind of a neat video.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's some ways it's got to be, it's probably been a game changer, the TikTok environment too, for artists, because like once you get recognized on TikTok, then suddenly you're, like that's, in some ways, that's how artists get exposed. Yeah. Is like you don't even hear about them until they show up on TikTok.
Totally. Yeah, and I mean, it's pretty neat for me right now because like, my TikTok following isn't huge. But like when I first started, and you have to have like 1,000 followers in order to do like a live stream. Oh, okay. When I started to do the live stream stuff and even just like the videos I posted or shows that I've played. And now it's funny, sometimes I'll join like one of my friends' live stream or somebody just even random. Yeah. And there's somebody in the comments, like I'll just say hello or something, and they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, it's Brandon! Brandon Lorenzo!"
That's awesome.
It's so funny.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, just people be like, "Oh, I saw you play here," or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, it's just kind of funny that.
You know what would be this is like a spur of the moment crazy thought. You know, if you want to create some content, that'd be hilarious. Taylor Swift. There's a video of Taylor Swift being brought into a venue, and they've created this massive janitor cart.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
I have seen that.
Dude, it would be absolutely hilarious if they videotaped you coming out of a janitor cart.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's funny because I think so many people have caught on to that now.
Yeah.
That they know when they see that cart, they're like,
yeah,
it's Taylor.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Man, that'd be funny because you could create a video where you're like, someone could videotape a janitor cart and then you come out.
That'd be really funny. That would be great.
Oh, man. Because it would get views. Like,
yeah. People would love it.
Oh, man. That'd be funny. So when you do your videos, how do you do the production? Like, do you have a separate person that does video production for you?
Yeah, so there's a local guy that I use, and he's done every video for me up to date.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just kind of like a one-man operation, and he's got all his lighting and stuff, and he just brings it in, and he just kind of tells people where to go. And
that's cool.
Yeah, we normally put out like a casting thing saying that we're looking for these kind of people to be in it. Just to fill a bar or whatever it ends up being.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just kind of, we take a day, and like the video I mentioned there, Another Round of You, I think we started at like 10 o'clock in the morning at Whiskey Rose and just kind of went to like 11 o'clock at night. Like,
wow,
it's like a full day
that
thing.
long, eh?
Yeah, just to get enough takes. And obviously for something like that, we needed both the day stuff and then the evening stuff.
Right.
So yeah, but we normally like to do it in one day versus spread out through a long period of time.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. Mm-hmm. So how many videos do you have now for like actual videos?
There will be, I think there are 4 or 5 on YouTube.
Wow. So we need more than that.
I know. Well,
let's kick it into gear.
We're talking about one right now for the new song that we just put out.
Yeah.
But it's just like, now that summer's over, I kind of want it to be that summer song. So maybe into next year.
We'll
start filming again. So
yeah. Do you find it like going back to that question of things that you maybe didn't realize were going to be like they are, but is the distribution of music tough, or is that like, or is it even matter? I don't know.
Yeah, it's actually pretty easy.
Yeah.
Like, there's a whole bunch of websites out there. You basically just put it all in.
Yeah.
And they're linked to like Spotify and everything. So it's literally, you put the name of the song, how long it is, where you want it to go, and you hit submit, and they do all the work behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So it could be pretty easy now. Well, I say that because the new song I just put out, I actually meant to put, it came out kind of middle of July.
Yeah.
And I screwed up the date, and it thought I put June.
Okay.
So it like the next day, people were like, "I love your new song." I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, it's not even out.
It got leaked.
Yeah. So I had to like take it down and redo it. But
oh, that's funny.
It's a pretty neat process just of how it all kind of works out.
And is that is it modified? Like, are you getting paid for downloads, or how does that work?
Yeah. So downloads, so streaming, you don't really make much unless you're like Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
But where the money really comes in is through like country radio as well. Oh. So when something gets picked up by country radio, then that's when it gets into, bigger amounts of money and stuff.
Right.
So yeah, it kind of depends on if your song is actually getting played or.
So is there a local radio that picks you up? Like, and who's the good ones?
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Because now we're going to change the radio station.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few, like a lot of it in Olds, or a couple in Edmonton play me too. CFWE here in town play me as well. Sun Country out in High River. A lot of those kind of stations. Yeah, it's kind of a big difference between like independent artists get the smaller stations, and then obviously the bigger artists get like Country 105 and stuff like that.
Right.
But, there's nothing saying that you can't get a feature on Country 105 or Wild 95.3. Wild's actually been pretty good to me. They started this project called the Grassroots Gone Country, and so they promote all of my shows that are coming up for whatever week it might be. So I get an email like every week from them. Morgan, shout out to Morgan, she's great. But she'll email, say, "Hey, what do you have coming up?" And then she posts it on the Wild page for Instagram and
that's
like
terrific,
that. So
man.
It definitely doesn't hurt that you kind of get in their corner and they start helping you out a little bit too.
Yeah, it's like, is it just purely based on like how many people are listening, or like how does someone get into the main 2 radio stations locally? Like, how do you get in there?
So, I mean, most of the radio stations now, they're all owned by one person.
Oh, okay.
So, like, for example, the person that owns like High River and Olds and Airdrie. Like it's all run by them. So whatever they choose is what all 4 of those stations will end up playing. But yeah, it just kind of depends on the streaming. Like you say, if the streams are well, they can see people are liking the song. It's also a matter of what their listeners are going to be paying attention to as well. It's very tough because like a lot of country has changed now. And so trying to find that balance between my sound and what people are going to like too is huge.
Yeah. Because you do have I don't know, 90s is kind of a way to see it, but it's country, not like kind of that bar country.
Yeah, and I think like that was a big change for me even just with this new song we put out because it was very more still on the modern side, a little kind of not even so much teetering on the edge. It was like a full jump onto the other side.
Right.
And then I had to find a way to kind of still incorporate that with maybe like steel guitar or something that would still kind of keep that sound.
Right. Do you write all of your own stuff or
some of it I've written and some I've gotten pitched by other artists too.
Right. What is that hard when someone else comes to you and says, "Hey, sing this"? And
it kind of depends. It's ultimately your choice.
Yeah.
So I might get like 20 songs from an artist and I might like 2 of them.
Yeah.
I'll say these are the 2 that I want.
Huh.
So, it just kind of depends, but yeah, there's times where I've gotten a whole folder of songs and I'm like, I don't like any of those.
Right. Or they're not your vibe.
Yeah,
like maybe they're great songs.
They're great
but
songs
you,
written, but just not how I see myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. So when, I don't know, just because I'm wildly curious about stuff, but when someone comes to you, they've written some songs, what's the licensing? Like, how do you pay for that?
Yeah, normally you have to sign like an agreement between the 2 of you saying that if it reaches this many streams or if you're doing actually physical copies, like they get a portion of whatever. And that's up to the writer.
Yeah.
Like everyone's different in terms of what they expect. Some of them are just like, it's all good.
Yeah.
They don't really care that much, and others care a lot.
Yeah.
Right? So it kind of depends.
That's interesting, hey?
Yeah.
That's that was probably like, how do you learn that? Like, there's no course that you would take for it.
Yeah, there's no course. I mean, just working with writers and other workshops and stuff too, you just kind of get to know that. But yeah, you just kind of get to learn it, I guess, as you go along. And that's honestly how I learn most of the stuff that I do know is either by trial and error or just, listening to other people. And I'm so grateful to have like people in my corner, even like my band that plays with me now, like they've been on the road for so many years that they know kind of the ins and outs. And if I don't know something, they're so knowledgeable that they'll just say, this is how you do it. And probably the best way to go about it. So,
I think when I think last time we talked, and I forget now, but you had said how you kind of got into like just playing music before. Like, what was the first instrument you picked up?
Yeah, I started with piano.
Piano.
Because I did like piano and voice with the Royal Conservatory of Music, and because I was an opera singer.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Years back.
Yep.
And, that was kind of what I picked up. But piano I found wasn't really my style.
Yeah.
And that's just when I started with guitar, and I found guitar gave me more options and more venues to play because you could just be you. It's a lot easier to carry a guitar in than it is a piano.
All a keyboard. Yeah. Wow. Do you have a favorite guitar? Do you have like it's your don't screw with my guitar?
Yeah, it's funny. I have a Taylor that I play for most. It's like my primary guitar. But yeah, like its first ever show was like Country Thunder and stuff like that. So it definitely means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And it's starting to get some wear and tear on it now, which looks kind of cool because it's almost like that Willie Nelson vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably my pride and joy right there.
Wow.
But between the 6 that I have, that's kind of
the go-to. Best sound,
probably just the funnest one to play.
Did I tell you last time we talked that I hate to admit this very often, but I play banjo. I play 5-string.
I remember you told me this. Yeah.
Oh man. Yep. The old I have a Fender Leo.
Okay.
And it's I remember at one point in my life I've had it a long time, but it literally was the most expensive thing I owned.
Yeah.
Like it was more expensive than the car I drove.
Right. Yeah. Oh, they're not cheap. Like I was actually looking the other day at a Ganjo. which is
What's that?
It's the exact same kind of setup as a banjo, and it sounds the same, but it's you play it as if you're playing a guitar. Like it's the same chord structures as a guitar.
Oh, really?
But yeah, you still get that kind of twangy sound to it.
Yeah. And it had open head, or is it
open head too?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty neat.
That's cool. I'm gonna have to go look that up.
Yeah, you can find them just at like music stores.
But it sounds like a banjo.
Sounds exactly the same.
Is it like a 5-string that you pick it, or is it
still be the same? So it's still just like a guitar.
Really? Oh, wow.
But yeah, it's you can either pick it or you can strum it, whatever you choose. But yeah, it works.
Banjos are heavy. That's maybe it's one of the downsides.
It still has the same weight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's still the same weight, and it's still heavy. But yeah, it's obviously, I call it the lazy banjo.
Yeah.
Because for me, I can't pick like most guys can.
Yeah.
So, I can just pretend and be like, oh, he's playing the banjo.
Yeah, yeah.
Little they know.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny when you hear, like, I don't know, like when you learn banjo, you don't learn it, and you don't pick up a piece of music that's being played today. It's always going to be music from 100 years ago.
Totally.
And it's these old songs that you learn to play. So when I hear a banjo being played on modern music, I'm like, oh my goodness, how is that still being played? And it's one of the you hear it when you know it, like I hear it because I play banjo, and then, but the funny thing is you hear it all the time. And you hear it on kids' music all the time.
Totally,
it's
that's
very much on kids' music.
Yeah, and I find it's making a comeback.
Yeah,
and like even just like songs that they're being remade now. Like actually, there's a band, Tim and the Glory Boys, which is a country band, but they remade. I don't know if you remember that song by Billy Ocean, "Get Into My Car."
Oh yeah.
I was listening to the radio the other day, and I was like, man, I've definitely heard this song before. But it was like, it's like the country version, and there's like full-on banjo in it. It's like
no way,
hey? Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Well, don't call me up to play in the band, because I'm not that guy.
No, so fair.
No.
It's more of a hobby.
If you need dueling banjos played in the background, I'm there for you. But perfect. Other than that, forget it. Not going to happen.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, my mom made me play it because I couldn't play piano.
Okay.
So it was not made me. She said you got to pick something. So that was the next one.
Yeah, and I think for me, piano just kind of worked out at the time because I could do both.
Yeah.
But it was just never what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so, guitar wasn't really what I wanted to do either, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I think I took a week of guitar lessons, and I was like, this is not what I want to learn.
Yeah.
So I just YouTubed a couple videos and taught myself, and here we are.
Yeah. Do you ever wish that you had picked up some other instruments, or can you pick up instruments? There's some artists that can just give me something, I can play it.
Yeah. It's funny. I've never really thought, other than like when I joined country music, like maybe the fiddle or steel guitar.
Yeah.
Like obviously those are both pretty neat. So,
yeah.
It'd probably be one of those that I wish. But yeah, I think the last time we spoke, it was like steel guitar is one of those instruments you never fully master.
Oh, really?
It's always something that's going to change.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think it'd probably be those two for sure.
That's interesting. Like the big difference from a steel guitar to a regular guitar is just the way you're using the fret system, and
and obviously like they use like the weights as well. Yeah, there's so much.
There's a lot to it, hey?
Yeah, because they're picking. They also have like the foot pedals, and then there's also like some of them I've noticed too. They have like, I don't know, they play with their knees too.
Really?
Like there's like these little bars.
That that's elaborate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I would not. There's a guy in Nashville. He's from the East Coast that I've played with, and he plays the steel and he sings at the same time. Wow. I'm like, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
Because I can barely play guitar and sing at the same time some days.
Yeah. I'm fascinated by people who can, like, either drummers or anyone on a guitar who can, I have to focus to do anything. But and then you have people that, it's like, hey, here's this new instrument I found on the street to see if you can play. It's a sitar. See if you can pick it up. And it's like, boom, they're playing. It's like, how is that possible? Yeah. I don't get it. It's just the musical ability of some people. Shocking. And I think a fiddle is, like, that seems to be a whole other level of complexity because now you're dealing with the way that the bow is interacting with strings too, which is, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I've actually started adding a lot more fiddle into my shows.
Yeah.
Like there's a great guy from Cochrane he's like an award-winning fiddle player. His name's Eric Provinger. And yeah, it's just so neat to see, you know, how that works, because, you know, it's just all in the style of how you play it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's still a violin.
Yeah.
But it's just the style.
I have friends who play violin, and anytime they pull it out, it's like, oh, fiddle time, you know? They're like, oh, that's not fiddle.
That's not a fiddle.
And they lose their minds.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, it's one of those instruments, like, you know, you got to think of the way you kind of
angle
your bow. And, it's pretty intricate.
Yeah. What do you have in your band? Like you have?
Yeah, there's normally
must be a keyboard.
No, it's mostly just
keyboard?
a lead
Drums?
guitar player, drummer, bass, and then me as the front guy with the acoustic.
Right.
But then oftentimes I'll throw in like the fiddle player, or sometimes it's a steel guitar.
Yeah.
There's been the odd time where I've thrown in like a keyboard, but sometimes I do like more shows where they want more rock music, and then he can adjust, and like with the electric keyboards, he can do any sound.
Right.
So we played Power of Love for one show by Huey Lewis.
Oh, wow.
He threw in like the whole trumpet section.
Oh, no way.
Right? So it worked out
cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That'd be fun. You could get a trumpet player though too.
You could.
That'd be just fun to have them,
sure.
to have it live.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah, if you ever need someone to play the triangle, I'm a mean triangle player. Like it's shocking how good I am actually. So
that's great. I'll keep that in mind. For
just bring me in anytime.
There you go.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like being at the, I had like literally never been at the Cowboy stage before to see that production. Like, I think it was, you know, obviously there's going to be some pre-recorded stuff going on too, but that was really interesting to see that production.
I've never been to the new one yet, but when it was back before the BMO expansion happened, I remember seeing like Steven Tyler there.
Oh yeah,
he played a few years back, but yeah, it's definitely something.
That'd be cool.
Huge.
Yeah, so. You know, it was probably besides the crowd was ridiculous, but that's not the music. But the music part that was shocking to me too was the amount of bass that they're kicking out. Yeah. And we're to a point where you can't hear the music anymore. Right. Like it was like you feel the bass as much as you're hearing it, but it really drowns out, you know, much of anything. Right. So, and when people were singing along with the music, it was because they already knew the song. You couldn't tell what was being sung at all. Like so, it was loud.
Oh yeah,
loud.
Yeah, they definitely bring in some of the big guns for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. I have a really hard time now listening to music, just 'cause I'm so exposed to that environment so much that like my ears just can't handle stuff like that.
Right.
So
it just to me, I don't know, like you know, I think when I was younger they used to use the word audiophile a lot because it was someone who really appreciated the fine, it was like, you know, fine wine or fine cheese, you know, but man, it's just when you hear it like produced like that, it just seems like there's no audiophile going on. This is a drunken riot going on here. So it's, but I don't know. I guess when you have that level of recognition, I guess, then it doesn't matter because you're there for the experience, not for the music.
Yeah, people are going to come regardless.
Yeah. Who are you opening for at the Grey Eagle? Like what's coming up there?
So the Grey Eagles, actually, they do a stage bar. So it's funny because you can smoke in the Grey Eagle.
Right.
Just like
that's interesting.
In the 90s.
Yeah.
But the stage is actually on top of a bar. So they have it where we're looking down onto the crowd. But it's basically like if there's a show in the event center, everybody kind of comes out afterwards and we're like the official after party.
Oh, no way. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we've done a few of those. Like I've got to play in the event center before, and I opened for Randy Hauser and stuff as well.
Okay.
But when we do like the stage bar, like we've been the after party for like Nazareth or Blue Rodeo and stuff like that. So I'm not sure who's in there. I did see online not that long ago, and I checked my dates to be like, is that us when we're there? But I can't remember who it is now.
Yeah.
It's a big band for sure that's there that weekend.
That's awesome. We drive by the Grey Eagle all the time, and we always, you know, you see the buses, and then it's like, who's that? And then we pull it up. But, oh, man, it was someone like kind of 9 Inch Nails or someone like that. Okay. But man, they had a lot of vehicles pulled in there for that. It was
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I noticed they have Extreme coming to play, and I'm like, That's probably like one of the first songs I ever learned on guitar was More Than Words.
Really?
But yeah, that's probably like the only one that I would really like remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, just I find they bring in a lot of like the older artists, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it might be. But yeah, there's so many. I remember they have a green room in the back, and it has all the pictures and all these signed guitars of every artist that I've ever played there.
Wow.
And I was honestly just like in heaven.
That's awesome.
All these guitars of like Gypsy Kings and Kenny Rogers and Dwight.
Kenny Rogers played there?
Kenny Rogers, yeah. Just, it was so neat. Like, it was like wall to wall. Like, and I could stand there for hours.
Yeah.
And you could probably still not be able to catch a glimpse of all of them.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. It's become a crazy good venue.
Totally.
The people don't really even know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done a lot there. I remember the Country Music Alberta Awards were there one year, and they did a phenomenal job.
Wow.
Took really good care of us too. But yeah, it's definitely kind of turning into one of the better places for concerts too.
Yeah.
I know they redid their whole sound system as well, and it's a great room to play in. So,
yeah. This is I think the thing that they have that they could change that would blow them up is when you drive past it, it's a hotel.
Yeah.
And they need something like some statue or something out front that's just like, oh, that's the great, like some crazy fiberglass, whatever. It's kind of like a Vegas-y kind of thing, just to put it more on the map. So
for sure,
good venue.
Yeah, I know they're doing like a lot of construction and stuff around there right now too. So who knows? Maybe they have plans to expand something.
And it's cool that they have all those car shows there too.
Yeah,
which has been really great.
Yeah, we've been to a couple there actually.
Yeah,
we've taken the Cordoba and whatever.
Yeah,
but, yeah, they usually have a good turnout because it's normally like where the event center is.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, they normally have quite a few people come.
Is that Cordoba in like show car condition? Like it's ready to rock?
Oh,
really?
Yeah, it's all original. Nothing's ever been touched.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, we went to a car show about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And this guy came like running out as soon as we pulled in the parking lot. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I had never seen one of those in so long."
No way.
Yeah. It was pretty neat.
Wow. It is kind of interesting side note, but the amount of interest in antiquity, I guess, like it's this kind of like mid-century everything.
Yeah.
It's shocking. Like
totally.
it's driven the price tag of everything up. So it's really impressive. Cars but small stuff too.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to reclaim their youth and childhood, I think, before it disappears off the planet.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Huh. That's amazing. So, when are you up next at the Grey Eagle? When is that?
I'll be there. Yeah, it's coming up in November. I think it's like the
November?
first or second week of November.
Oh, you got a busy fall then coming up. So you only have because you'll be down in Nashville in October?
Yeah, end of October.
End of October. So, you get busy starting. Like right quick. You only have a few weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
crazy.
I'll enjoy it while I can.
Yeah. What are you going to do for fun then? You just going to kick back, put your feet up?
Probably. Try to. Maybe write some new music. Because I do find that fun too.
Yeah.
But, probably just try
do you have a studio, or what do you do for studio? That, like, if you want to record something?
Yeah, there's the one in town here that I use called MCC.
MCC.
So the guitar player I use for all my live shows too, he's also my producer.
Okay.
And we've done pretty much every song there, I think, except 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's great to work with. His name's Johnny. And we'll normally go in there, spend a day, do it all, and it's all live off the floor too. Nothing's brought in, other than like a steel guitar down from Nashville.
Right.
But everything is like, all the musicians come in for the day.
Yeah.
They set up. We maybe take like 3 or 4 takes. And that's it. That's the song.
That's awesome, hey? Where is that?
It's just in Calgary, just kind of off 32nd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. And you just rent it? It's an hourly type of situation, or you get it for the day or whatever?
Yeah, we get it for the day, and we're both kind of good friends now, so it's kind of let me do.
Oh, that's terrific. Did I tell you before when we had a family reunion? My wife's family went to this reunion down in, it was in Washington or something like that. And there was a house that was down there that we rented, and it was actually built as a studio.
Oh.
And so it was built so it had basically, I don't know, the room where the studio was set up like a very small bar, and so there was a stage that you could go on that was like a 3-foot, 4-foot elevated stage, and it had a dance floor and seating, and like it was really well set up. And then it had like a fully glassed in booth for recording, and I guess what they built it for was if a band or an artist wanted to do like a whole album, they could truck everybody in, and they had rooms that kind of amounted to hotel type of space, and you could put like 20, 30 people with families and everything in there, and then
stay for the time.
It was terrific. They had a commercial kitchen, and you know what? It probably wasn't even terribly expensive, you know, in the grand scheme of things. So neat, because you could then you're completely away from society for as long as you need to be there.
Absolutely.
Kind of neat.
Yeah, that's really neat.
If you ever get there.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe
hook
I'll
you
do
up.
That.
It was cool. It was a super fun, like a family reunion event. Because then we went and did. As I say this, I know what's going to happen because we're going to end up having to pull old video and post it. But we had a karaoke night there, and so it was it was super fun. They came in, the owners came in, and they played. They played the karaoke, and all the kids got up and sang. And
it's funny you mentioned karaoke. I was talking to a buddy last night, and he was talking about how, well, actually, his mother-in-law was like, "You ever heard Justin sing karaoke?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." I was like, "We sang in my truck many times."
Yeah.
He was talking about how she said he sings a mean "My Heart Will Go On" by Celine Dion. And I was like, I need to hear this now.
That is awesome. Yeah.
So I've been pushing him. I'm like, when are we going to do karaoke? Because, like, I need to hear this. Like,
yeah. And you got to get the cameras rolling.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah, he'd hate me for that. But
I wonder if you could take, like, that would be an interesting country and Western song if you could sample out Celine Dion.
Oh, yeah.
And add it in somehow.
Add it in? That'd be neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool.
Do a little collaboration.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm going to think about that.
Can you, like, if you use someone else's music, do you have to, like, how do you compensate them, or do you?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on, so a lot of songs nowadays, especially the older ones, are all public domain.
Oh, okay.
So you can normally find out if they're copyrighted still or not.
Yeah.
But if they're all just kind of free range, you can do whatever.
Right.
Like, most people will record, let's say, Blue Christmas with Elvis.
Sure.
Right? And they'll kind of add in their voice over top and take out his voice or whatever. But yeah, you can do it as long as the artist is okay with it or whatever. Yeah.
Let's get Celine on the phone. Let's find out.
Let's find out. Yeah, call her right now.
That would be true. I think that would be kind of a neat kind of thing. She's in the news quite a bit right now.
Yeah,
and she's done that little documentary, and yeah.
It's pretty neat to see her play in Paris there for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Kind of her first public appearance in so long.
Yeah.
But for sure. That'd be neat.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I still think you got to do like some sort of reggae mix-up thing. So yeah. There's a whole. I just kind of actually it was probably since you were here before. There's this. I don't know if you call it a genre of music, but it's kind of like the lion sound. Okay. It's kind of what it's called, and it's a very Jamaican tone, and it's kind of reggae, but it's a component of the reggae music. You got to listen to it. It's pretty. It's powerful music. It would be interesting. I don't think you could pull it easily into something else, but
I mean, I know there's so much out there, and I think the last time we were on here, I mentioned how I sing like "Dust on the Bottle."
Yeah.
Then I do that little reggae verse too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of neat, and I actually just hosted this. I was the MC for an event was it last weekend? Anyways, but there was this band, and they were like total reggae style.
No way.
I just loved it.
Really?
Yeah. It's so good.
And was it reggae like for reggae, or was it reggae and mixed into?
It was like reggae, like a reggae and pop mix.
Okay.
But yeah, their style was just super neat.
Yeah. There was I think there's a documentary on Lenny Kravitz.
Okay.
And I think it was Lenny. Anyways, they were talking about how reggae is written and how you'd have to watch it. And because I'm not musical, this isn't going to make any sense or be right even. But they said basically the way reggae works is it's kind of a backwards, the way the tone and the beats come in. It's a backwards situation from normal music that you'd be most familiar with. And that's why it sounds so different. And in some... During the documentary, they were actually talking about how almost by definition, you can hear that way that the music's written and that the tone comes in. And that defines it as reggae more so than you just kind of slap on the reggae name to it. It's got a very different way it works. I had memorized it at one point and now it's gone. So, but
I could see that though, like just kind of thinking how the style is, how that would work.
But this lion thing, you get to listen to that. It's pretty cool actually. The way it's very, it's always this. It's an older crowd who sings it typically, and it's very gritty. Like it's got this real, depth to it because it's probably everyone smokes like hard, and it's the lung cancer coming out. Let's be honest.
That's exactly it.
So are you gonna? So album wise, what do you do? Like, what's your? Are you working towards putting together an album at all, or what's the plan going forward?
At some point. It's tough because albums are expensive.
Are they really? Why?
Just to put out because you have so many songs that you can put into it, and you're paying for the time in order to do it.
Oh, okay.
And I find a lot of the time now too, people really only want, and it very well, it's been like that for years. We just never really knew. But if you ever bought like an old record from the store, really and truly, you may have only bought that record because you liked one or two songs on that record. The other ones are just kind of fillers. Yeah. So if I can release a single and just have that one song put out that anybody can listen to at any given time, then I'm just going to do that.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense.
I know people have always asked me, like, again, you should put out an album. But I did put out one that was just a little project. It was like a hard copy thing. We only did 100 copies, but it was called the album was called Uncut. So it was all uncut songs that I'd never put out to the public.
Yeah.
And so unless you had that CD, you would never hear those songs. And most of those I still haven't put out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think about it a lot, as kind of time goes on, and whatever is to, should I be putting one out? And
how hard would it be to cut actual vinyl?
It's not hard. There's places in town here that do it.
Really?
You can get it done.
That would be neat.
And they're making a comeback.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
big time.
I actually
comeback.
just my grandparents just moved to another place, and so we cleared out their house, and my dad got their old record player.
Oh wow.
So it'd be kind of neat to get your hands on vinyl.
Like I think it's part of that vintage sort of vibe that.
And you can customize it and everything
really?
too. Like there's a shop here in town that presses vinyl and stuff for you.
Wow.
So
that'd be sweet.
I've looked into it.
You could do a single, I guess. You could do a single on vinyl, and like if you like, I don't know how, I haven't given it any thought beyond this very second. But if you went to the Stampede with a 45 on vinyl, man, that would be something. That would hit the news because that's just super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot you can do with it. And, they do like 45. They do the little LPs too.
Yeah.
Still and whatever else, but I know there was another artist that just puts them out, and I've been thinking about it for a lot of years now, and just even taking all the songs that I do have right now,
greatest hits album,
and putting them on, and people would love it. Like people ask too, like, do you have CDs still, or even vinyl? So it's kind of neat.
Now, if 8-track comes back at any sort of level, I don't think it's gonna. But
you never know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird technology. The old 8-track was weird. It just didn't. It didn't really make a lot of sense, and that's why it never really stuck around. As soon as Cassette showed up, it was wiped out. Yeah. But records, man, people are buying them. It's pretty wild.
And it's funny now. Like when I go to like the music store and stuff too to buy stuff for my guitar, they have like a whole section of just like records that you can buy. Yeah. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, like like there was a period of time where you'd go to the store that used to be the record store, and there was only CDs, and then there'd be like milk crate in the back,
right,
with like 12,
yeah.
12 records.
Yeah.
But now it's like, like we were at Chinook Mall the other day and went into, I forget if it was like H&M or whatever it was, Sunrise
Records. Yeah.
It's like, dude, this place is all records. Like, that is nuts.
Yeah. It's funny because they used to be all CDs, like that HMV or whatever it's called, right?
Yeah.
And now it's like CDs have just kind of gone.
Yeah.
Records have come back.
And it's interesting because I think what other than the nostalgic sort of situation of having, a record, which is kind of like cool because it's tactile and it has a neat sort of thing to it. But it's also cool that it almost universally has that little crackly sound to it that it would be hard to, I'm sure AI could duplicate it. But it's an interesting sort of vibe when you add that to a song.
Totally. Well, and it's just crazy now that like I just bought a brand new truck. Like most of the cars and whatever nowadays, they don't even come with a CD player anymore. Yeah. Like they're not even making them. So.
Yep. Well, I think, I would be surprised if any do come with a CD now, because who has CDs?
Well, exactly. Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, as someone was saying to me the other day, it's like I was kind of joking about how, like you go to the store now and well, this is September. Yeah. And the next big holiday would be Halloween, but you go to the stores now and all the Christmas stuff's out, and I was like, oh. Yeah. And so I was just kind of tongue in cheek saying, well, I'm going to start buying all my Valentine's Day stuff,
That's exactly it.
And then I think he was saying, well, yeah, you just got to buy stuff and you buy it in bulk and then you put it in a drawer somewhere so you always have it.
That's right.
And I was like, yeah, I have a lot of brand new CDs to give away, but no one wants them.
Exactly. It's so true.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, you've been lovely to have you here, and hopefully we see you again before too long. And we got to do one of these collabs, and I'm gonna get I'm gonna polish off my triangle.
Sure.
For your next song.
Sounds great. I'd love to have you. I'll pay you.
It's gonna be awesome. And I'll get that 1 cent royalty off of it.
There you
it's
go.
gonna be so good.
Perfect.
Can't wait. And then I can say I'm a country music artist.
That's right. Absolutely. And you might get an award from it too.
The one person who provides the very least to this industry is Craig Nadeau. Terrific. Well, great to have you. Hopefully see you again, and maybe we'll see you up on stage soon.
Of course.
So,
I appreciate you guys having me again.
All right. Well, thanks for coming.
No problem.
Talk to you soon.
You too.
Okay, bye for now.